right, good day to you. My name is Fred Oakman, and as always, with me today is Mr. Jake Peters. We are PS This Is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 314. This is a show where we share our feelings about the current state of PlayStation. But before we get on with the show, I want to invite you all to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/PS This Is Awesome. If you want to make fun of our trophy list on the PSN, you can find me at anchorlist_81 and Mr. Jake Peters at jakesaw01. As always, you can write the show at psthisisawesome@gmail.com. And most importantly, don't forget to share the show with your friends. Be sure to leave comments and rate the podcast as you see fit. As a reminder, we are a video podcast as well. You can watch our show over on YouTube if you prefer. Be sure you're subscribed to that. And for new and or longtime listeners, we have a Patreon. You can support our show at a $1 level. The Patreon tier is called the One and Only $1 Club. So head over to patreon.com/PS This Is Awesome. We will mail you a free die-cut vinyl sticker if you decide to support our show for $1 a month. Clearly, that doesn't keep the show running, but it gives us the fire we need to keep consistent and steady episodes for you. So if you like getting these shows every week, go on over there, give us $1 a month. You can do it, and we'll give you a shout out in the show as well as a sticker. So with all that out of the way, Jake, how are you doing today?
I don't know. Not very good. I don't feel very well. So
yeah,
like literally everybody in my life is sick right now. So it's kind of inevitable that it's going to get passed along at some point. I think as of Friday last week, 2/3 of my office was sick or just coming back from being sick. And
that sucks.
So I've been kind of fighting it off all weekend. And of course I had a busy weekend, so I didn't really get a lot of rest. And then hopefully it's no big deal. And I just I'm usually pretty good at like shrugging off sicknesses, but if it's just a little cold or something, but hopefully it's not anything more than that, because a couple people I talked to have said that whatever they got is put them down for a couple days, and I really don't want to deal with that. So
I've heard that as well. I've heard there's some garbage going around. Sorry to hear you're not feeling great.
It's just like a drainage thing. It's not really even like, I don't feel really that bad otherwise. I got this like lump in my throat from all this drainage, and other than that I feel maybe a little bit of a lack of energy, but I don't feel like horrible. So it's just one of these things where you just kind of feel just sort of gross. And I don't know. Not enough to keep me home, but we'll see how tomorrow goes.
Well, don't go getting other people sick. That's the thing. I tell people in my office all the time, I'm like, hey, here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal. If you feel like garbage, don't bring it in. You know, even if you can power through it. I don't want to get sick, so just keep it at home. That's what sick days are for. But I get it, man. Work's to be done. You know. Dude, so I've got a couple.
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's just like one of those things where, like, if I feel like I want to stay home, I'll stay home. But if I feel well enough to be at the office, I have my own office where I can close the door.
Yeah.
So I could stay away from people. And not to mention, like I said, literally everybody in my office is already sick or just coming back from being sick. So it's like, what the fuck? I'm already walking into a cesspool.
Yeah, there's no damage to be. There's no
Anyway,
damage.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Dude, I just had a couple quick things I want to bring up before we get on the show. Obviously, you're not feeling great, and unfortunately, this was a week of a lot of news. So what we plan on covering today is going to be the PlayStation State of Play, go over some listener feedback, and then a couple random news stories, and we'll be out of everybody's hair. I know I say that to the listeners, and they're like, well, fuck, we're tuning in because we want to hear you guys talk about shit. Well, don't worry. We're going to talk about shit. But we also got to be mindful of everybody's health. So we're going to cruise through it. But I wanted to bring up just several quick icebreakers for the podcast. Question number 1. Have you ever been in... I think this is a guy thing versus a girl thing. Man and women. Here's the thing. When I get into a very deep sleep and I'm just absolutely zonked. Like literally, I'm so dead asleep, I might as well not even exist. And then if I get startled awake, I go immediately into putting up my dukes and like fighting for my life. Like if there's something primal that triggers, like if you startle me when I'm in that REM sleep and I come out of it, I might swing and hit you. It's not personal. I'm just automatically in I gotta save myself mode because I don't know what the fuck's going on as soon as I wake up. And if there's someone in my fucking space, it freaks me out and I just start going crazy. And I'm not even fully awake yet. Like my brain is still waking up. This happened last night. I'm in bed. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get a good start on Monday. I'm going to bed at 9 o'clock. I go to Chelsea. I said, hey, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going up to the bedroom. I'm going to bed. End of story. Put on the TV. And before I know it, I'm out. I don't even know that I'm out. I'm gone. Just gone. I'm getting to sleep. My body needs it. It was a long weekend. And then I'm awoken, and she's at the bedside standing. Now, granted, the lights are out. The TV is on, so there's a little bit of like a silhouette. And she's standing there, and my brain doesn't quite tie it together to reality yet. And she's reaching. It looks like she's reaching over me or doing something like moving towards me. And I immediately go like this. And I'm like looking at him like, what the fuck are you doing? Like just go scream, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like get really violent for no reason except the fact that like I got put into fight or flight for no reason at the fact that I was just dead asleep and someone was like in my fucking personal space and I didn't expect him to be. Turns out she was like shaking me to wake me up, which number one kind of pissed me off because I went to bed on purpose to go to sleep. But here she was downstairs. And she couldn't sleep and she couldn't find her phone. So she had wanted me to wake up and call her cell phone so she could fucking look at shit on her phone because she couldn't sleep. So it was a disaster. So anyways, she found her phone. It somehow gotten through the couch cushions down below the couch down there where she was sitting and she just couldn't find it. She must have passed out and woke back up and couldn't get back to sleep. Anyways, you know how it is when you're restless. So glad that she didn't just jump into the bed because she would have been restless as shit all night and would have pissed me off even more. But I got terrible sleep because I was awoken by this fucking moment. And like, I wanted to know, hey, do you snap into that if anyone startles you awake from a deep sleep? Has it ever happened?
No, but I'm also not a paranoid freak like you are.
Yeah, dude. I watch a lot of scary shit, and I'm always like worried that someone's gonna kill me in my sleep. Now, granted, I didn't think wouldn't ever expect Chelsea to do that, but you never fucking know.
I mean, of course I've been like startled awake,
but
before,
you don't wake up
like,
with your hands up like this, ready to go.
No,
I'm not even a fighter. I wouldn't even know how to throw a punch. But yeah, that's it. I think it's primal instinct kicking in, man. They say like don't like that's the whole saying like don't. Let sleeping dogs lie. Don't fuck with them when they're asleep, even if they're friendly, because they'll panic and they'll bite you if you wake them up. You know what I mean? Like, they get. I have a bit of that in me. It's weird. I'm not a dog, clearly, but that's a real thing. So I just wanted to see what your take was on that. Listeners, you guys can chime in if you're a defensive sleeper in that regard. And then I started thinking real quick. We had conversations about the music industry, there being too much static. About games, too many fucking games, too much static. How do you sort through the bullshit? And I'm starting to realize that this is not a game or music or art kind of media thing. I think that this is everywhere. I just think there's too much static everywhere. And I say this because it used to be back in the day, you could sniff out the fucking shitty products being advertised to you, right? Because like it's the same thing. Like if you can afford a TV commercial, there might be something there. Now, when you're on the internet, everybody and their mother has a product they're trying to sell you. Now, let's just say that I do suffer from headaches, which I don't. There was an advertisement about this fucking plunger you put in your ear. You all the it's like, just imagine like a turkey baster. You squeeze it, get all the air out, you put it in one ear, and you unsqueeze it, and it's supposed to suck out pressure. And this lady's like, it really works. If you have a headache, gone in 2 minutes, 100% it goes away. She goes, trust me, this works. You just have to do this for 2 or 3 minutes each ear. And it's a completely serious advertisement. This is what we've come to. There's no way.
Not fucking use one of those things.
I didn't get headaches,
That's
but
like,
I saw it. I saw it, and then I'm just like, there's so much bullshit everywhere now. Like headaches, clearly you shouldn't refer to a turkey baster to pull shit out of your ear, but there's so much, though. There's so many things. There's so many just fucking things being thrown in front of us all the time. Oh, this is the best ice scraper you ever see in your entire life. Or these are the best, these hubcaps will never break. These hubcaps, this is the best pillow you'll ever use, ever. It's the greatest thing for your posture. All the time, I'm being sold some sort of fucking garbage, to the point that if there ever is a situation that there is an opportunity, like let's say like a fucking insurance salesman is like, guys, listen, we really could get you a better deal on your fucking insurance, no strings attached, come join us. My guard is up 100% again on everything. I trust nobody. If you're trying to sell me a product, you instantly aren't getting my money. Like, that's just where I'm at. And it's like, dude, do you feel this way? Like if you're looking for a new if it's not like a name brand or something you've never heard of, let's say like you see like an invention online or something. It's like, oh yeah, that would be really, I don't buy into this shit, but I'm just trying to give an example. Let's say like, I don't fucking know. Let's say you need a new pump, a tire pump for your basketball or something, right? Would you, if you saw an advertisement online for a tire pump that like apparently never fails, lifetime guarantee, it's just like some sort of automated thing, and it just, people are like, it's the best pump I've ever purchased, never had to fucking buy another one again my entire life, and it's $20. Or are you going to probably go on Amazon or go to Walmart and just get a fucking manual pump? Like, I'm never going to trust anything that's sold to me over the internet, mainly. Ever. Any advertisement. But it might be the best pump, dude.
I'm not opposed to being advertised to. I mean, I think it really boils down to the advertisement. Some of them are just like, it's like, if you're gonna advertise to me like this is the Home Shopping Network, then yeah, I'm not gonna fucking look at your shit.
Right.
Like if
you order in the next 2 minutes. Yeah, right.
Yeah, like it's gotta have, like, it's gotta be one of these things where it's like, yeah, you can advertise to me that, it's the best fucking basketball pump on the planet or whatever you're saying. But if I don't Google that, like, let's say there's like layers to it. It's like, okay, you got a good fucking commercial or ad or whatever.
Your
fine,
interest
right?
is piqued, yeah.
First thing I'm going to do is Google your ass. And if your product doesn't show up in some stores that I am familiar with, or if you don't have multiple accreditations from places that I trust or something like that, it's like, I'm not going to look at you. But I am, if it's like I'll give you an example of like two big ones are like groove rings and shady rays. So groove rings are like the silicone rings for like wedding bands and stuff.
Okay, yeah, right.
I have bought a couple of their rings because I don't wear my metal wedding band anymore.
Okay.
Because it's too dangerous.
For work,
and
right?
Just for work and for working on my motorcycles and all the playing hockey, like it's not worth it for me to wear it. So I've bought a couple of the silicone bands from them, and they're actually really, really nice for fucking $30. So you can't beat them. And then the other thing was Shady Rays sunglasses. Now, I will admit, with as far as the Shady Rays go, I was a little bit underwhelmed with that product, but I wouldn't say that I got ripped off. But these are two things that it's like, you either have to be like, both of them have made their bones on like internet advertising.
Yeah.
You know, like YouTube ads, like Groove Rings and Shady Rays and stuff like that, Purple Mattress, like shit like this, where it's like,
Sure.
once you get inundated with this shit, like over and over and over again, it's like, okay, if fucking Joe Rogan is advertising Groove Rings or whatever, or Monkey Feet, these things that you like lift weights with,
I hate
it's like,
these
okay,
fucking
well,
names, by the way, I hate them all.
then it's like, okay, well, if the people that are advertising this are people that like are like, I know it would be worth their time to do this, like they're not going to sell me something that's a piece of shit,
right?
Then it's like, okay, I'll look into it. But those random ads you're talking about, like the snake oil shit, I'm just like, you got to stop. Like, and more often than not, like Facebook and Instagram and all this stuff, I literally, every single time I get one of those, I just click on it. It's just like, I don't want to see this anymore. I don't want to see this anymore. I don't want to see this anymore. And I've got my shit tailored pretty well, but the moral of the story is,
do your research.
Don't put a fucking turkey baster in your ear, because you are way more likely to damage your eardrums than you are to actually fucking help you relieve your headache.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, this shit's all fucked up now. Like, everybody's trying to like sell you something. Like, even if it could probably really hurt you. And it's just so weird that this is okay now. We accept it. And it's just like, they're going to all lose their money eventually. But I mean, like, if you think about it, if you put proper advertising out there and you have a shitty product, you get in front of enough people, you're going to make your money back. If you price it right, you're going to make your money back and then some. So it's like the whole thing is just broken because, again, oversaturation of everything. Anyways, that's that. We can let it go. The last one I was going to bring up, and I'm so pissed off about this. I've changed so many wiper blades in my time. I'm 42, turning 43 in May. I went out there to change Chelsea's window wipers, and it was cold out. This actually happened last week. It was cold out, and my hands were frozen, and I have the wiper arm up, and I'm putting the blade on, and the sleeve of my jacket or something caught on something, and I let go of the arm, and it came down, and it cracked her windshield. And I'm so fucking mad about it, because the tension of that spring on the wiper blade arm, oh my God, dude, that thing is cranked so tight. That thing came down so fucking hard, and I didn't have the blade on, and it just, have you ever done this?
I mean, I've had like
close calls,
cracked windshields before, but I've never done that.
So,
specifically,
word of advice: I get on Reddit trying to figure out if this is going to be covered by comprehensive or if it's going to be like the whole fucking thing. And I got on Reddit, and then someone was like, "Oh yeah," someone was like, "Oh my God, I just did this," and then all the comments were like, "You're a dumbass," and I felt like such an idiot. But it's like, I've done this 1,000 times. I've never had this issue. And I guess this is one of those things where it's like, you do it one time, you'll never fucking do it again. Because like, it's like next time I change window wiper blades, they're coming up and I'm putting down towels where the window wiper blade should rest. I don't even know if that would have fucking saved it, but that's what people are like, oh yeah, every time I do it, put down a fucking towel, because you never know if that thing's going to slip, man. It's like, dude, I've let them slip before, never cracked a windshield. But it was also really cold out, so that probably didn't help. But that's my end of rant. Maybe the listeners have done this. Maybe they think I'm an idiot. But
usually what I'll do is I'll take the wiper off and then put the arm, like set the arm back down on the windshield. And then get the other one ready, pull the arm up, snap the new one on, and then set it back
well, see,
down.
That's what I was doing. So, yeah, the first one was already on. I had the wiper blade. I pull up the arm, I go to affix it, and this movement, something caught or something, and I let go, and it just boom, it went down, and I was like, God damn it, because it was really loud, and it's small enough, but it's small enough you can see the spider webbing coming out from it, and I'm like, God damn motherfucker. So it hasn't been replaced yet, but
I mean, I wouldn't even worry about like Googling insurance shit. I would just call your fucking insurance agent and be like, my windshield's cracked. I need to get it replaced.
Yeah. Any insurance adjuster is going to see where that crack started and know exactly what the fuck happened when he looks at those white.
And if they want to bust your balls and be like, well, how did it happen? And just be like, oh, the windshield wiper arm kind of cracked the thingamajig.
Yeah.
And then it's up to at that point they can be like, oh well, we're not covering it or whatever. But
yeah, or it's a high deductible.
Certainly hope that they do.
Yeah, it's just a pain in the ass.
The thing is that if they don't cover it, paying for your own windshield is real expensive.
Yeah, so they will cover it. We have the coverage, but I just don't know if they're gonna say, well, this is fine because you pay this, whatever. This is your plan, so you don't have to. I've had my windshield patched with the goop they put in, and then over time that became compromised again, that exact area. So I called it in again, and then they're like, "Yeah, we're just gonna replace your windshield." And I was like, "Well, what's that gonna cost me?" They're like, just $50. And I'm like, $50? And she was like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right." They were like, "Yeah, we don't fill it up twice. Once it's compromised, after the first patch, we replace it for safety." I was like, "Cool. $50, here you go."
There you go.
Yeah, but I don't know what this one's going to cost me. Anyways, let's get into games we're playing. Every episode, we talk about games that we're currently playing. And if I'm being entirely honest, Jake, I've not really fallen back into Final Fantasy 16. The game is slowly getting away from me. I am progressing the story, but it is I'm slowing down on this shit. I still have the Dead Inside or whatever the hell that Dark Pictures game is, and Helldivers comes out soon. And I've just been really tired lately, so I haven't really had much steam either. I've been booking a lot of shows for the summer, been doing a lot of band work, doing tax shit, working overtime at my job. It's been busy, so gaming has been kind of put on the back burner, but I have been playing it. I'm a little further, and it's fine. I find myself being less and less interested in this game, but I have to finish it now that I'm well past the halfway point. Jake, what are you playing? Anything?
What am I playing? Oh, I'm just still playing Death Stranding. I'm right at the end. I'm at the last area.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember, but there's no spoilers, but you have to find your way across this big tar pit to get to the final city area.
I vaguely remember this.
And so I finally just did that, and now it's they tell you that you have to race another character to find your sister. So I'm slowly working on that, and I will admit that I do. The more I play it, the more I have been enjoying it, especially once you get I feel once you get the non-lethal assault rifle, it's the fucking whatever mules or whatever are just trivial, and it's kind of I feel there are some balancing issues in the game where it's you should give. I think that they should have given. It would have been nice to have some of this stuff sooner, but then maybe not make it so powerful. You know what I mean? Give me the ability to kind of handle these situations, but maybe make the tools a little bit less productive so that I can still have a little bit of a challenge. And then the last area I've been in or whatever, it's just been vehicles are kind of fucking trivial. I mean, they're not even worth using. But it's once I got the extended battery or whatever, and unlocked the once you unlock the all-terrain power legs or whatever the fuck it is, it's just whatever. You just like load all your shit on one of those little fucking dollies, and then you just climb literally cliff walls.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, this is just whatever. And then you get that thing that allows you to kind of take out the BTs or whatever.
Yep.
And I don't know. I don't know. I'm almost done with it, and I'm excited to get through it, just to be able to start on something else. But I'm like 32 hours into it, so I've got to be really close.
Yeah, you are getting close. So I will say this. Every episode we talk about listener feedback. You can write the show at psisawesome@gmail.com. You can also leave comments on our YouTube episodes or wherever you want to. But we do prefer that you go join the Patreon. Write us on Patreon, patreon.com/PS. This is awesome. But we're not picky. And Big Box writes in, and this is a Death Stranding related news question, feedback. And I never thought about this until he brought it up. He says, Death Stranding music question. You guys didn't find the soundtrack to be jarring? I was into the hard sci-fi world, the unique tone, the futuristic themes, etc. But then all of a sudden I'm listening to churches and low roar. I feel like it needed an otherworldly Oppenheimer-esque Nolan soundtrack. And we got a Euphoria, HBO, Gone Home, a very 2014 era soundtrack instead. You two didn't have that experience? Great show as always. P.S. Fred, Billy Joel is releasing a new single on February 1st. That's fun, right? Yeah, that is fun. Sure. That's crazy, by the way. I didn't listen to it yet. Didn't realize that was happening till you wrote in, and I have not listened to Billy Joel's latest single. But I should check it out. Also, dude, what do you think about this music commentary? I've never really thought about the choice of songs. I just like that they did it.
I don't know that I agree with this at all. I think that the soundtrack, like the reason all of the songs fit the mood of travel almost perfectly within this desolate world, in my opinion. And I will admit that it can be jarring when you've been running around for 10 minutes and then all of a sudden
you hear
a track starts to play
or something, yeah.
And it's like, but I think that's cool. Like, it's awesome that it never like jumps into like this fucking, rock anthem or something like that. It's always some like atmospheric kind of jam. Like the low roar songs might as well be fucking ambient music because they're so just chill. You could argue like maybe some of the Apocalyptica songs or something like that because they're a little bit more upbeat. But like,
but what about
my biggest problem?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then just my one last point is my biggest problem with it is that they always trigger too late. Like, I want them to trigger right at the start of a given journey, or like towards the beginning of a given journey. But for me, what ends up happening is I'll be trudging up over this hill, been walking for 15 minutes. This song comes on, little credit pops up, sounds fucking dope, and then 20 seconds into the song, I walk up to a distribution center and it cuts out.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just wish that the timing was a little bit better, but all said, I do enjoy the filmic nature of it. I do think it works very well. I just think that the timing could be a little bit better. I do understand that part of it.
Yeah. And I think maybe where Big Box is going a little more with this is like, should it not just be even more cinematic? Like, can it just be interesting composures, compositions, and not be like something that the kids are listening to these days Like, can it
But
be?
none of those songs are that, you know? They're all these fucking obscure,
It could be
like,
argued, yeah.
indie,
Yeah.
like, atmospheric music.
Yeah, that's true. And we know Hideo Kojima curates that shit. He makes sure that it's exactly what he wants. But man, I don't, because what? We got all kinds of Metal Gear songs too. Interesting shit in that game that were like, you know, classic. We got classic rock songs and all kinds of stuff. We had that garbage song. That's Hideo's style. I don't want to take that from him, but to be quite honest, dude, it never dawned on me, which is probably saying a lot because it must have fit perfectly, because I never thought that it felt out of place. And I was just like, oh, this is interesting. This works. But I never really considered the source content. Never considered that these were current musicians and bands and current, relatively current and relative and you know, I don't know, active groups right now. Now, would it be weird if, like, I don't know, it might even be more badass. Could you imagine coming up over the crest of like a mountain and hearing like the beginning of Everlong or something? I think it would still be cool. I think it's just the timing. I think it's the timing, like you said, but I think it's better towards the tail end of the journey than in the beginning. If anything, the middle would be the perfect. But like something like, what if like the riff to Anner Sandman comes in and you and you're like walking with this fucking baby attached to you, and you just got done taking out these fucking mules. And like you're getting to the exit and you've got your fucking luggage. It actually would work. I think the beauty of Hideo Kojima games,
something like that's a little too Marvel for me, but
it could work. I don't think it would be wildly out of place.
I think that it would be like if they were really, because you know he would use that in a very particular scenario. Like let's say you like probably like I can like the way that I see something like that playing out is like the first time you come across one of the trucks and you like, let's say you killed a bunch of mules and you steal this fucking truck
and now you get
into it and then all of a sudden Enter Sandman's fucking blasting and then Sam Bridges like turns it off and is like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, like, that would be kind of
like you could see like him doing some weird shit like that.
Or just like grunting.
Yeah. But like I don't know. I appreciate this comment.
I do too.
The thing is that I love the to be clear, in my experience, 95% of the time it is just ambient soundtrack score. It's not, you know, any licensed music at all.
Right.
And then you know, it's only randomly that one of these things start playing, and generally when it does, to me it seems like the stuff that is playing is very in keeping with the ambience of what's going on, not necessarily it never to me felt like it was clashing.
Yeah, true.
I guess I should say.
Yeah, it always felt like it fit. Thanks for writing in, Big Box. Appreciate you as always.
I will say just one final statement is that literally almost every single fucking song that plays whenever I'm playing the game is by that band Low Roar.
Oh.
And I don't know how the soundtrack is being chosen. And the other thing that I'm wondering is, because there's a lot of licensed music in this, do these licenses run out? And are there certain tracks that I don't have because I'm playing the director's cut version of the game that might have been in the original version of the game, and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So there is some weirdness that could be going on there too. But I have to imagine that it's probably just my experience. Maybe I'm just being fed this particular artist.
Could you imagine if we had a manager and they say, hey, Flood, Kojima Productions, more notably Hideo Kojima, would like to use your entire album for his new video game. Like, what the fuck do you do but say yes all the time? You know what I mean? That's awesome.
Yeah, I'd freaking for free. Yeah.
No, we got to take a cut. Jesus. But yeah,
how much do these people probably get paid for this? Probably not a lot.
I don't know how. I don't know.
But
what
they
the price
probably
point
get
is.
paid something.
Oh
Maybe
yeah, they get paid something.
Some kind of a little thing.
Well, we were gonna get just for the one track we were gonna write for Cyberpunk that we wrote for that contest. The winner walked away with, I think they said, if your song was chosen, you get $5,000, and they picked like 12 artists for one song.
Yeah.
So, fuck, if you had an album of 12 songs and they just wanted to use it, there's fucking $60,000. That's at the rate they give nobody. That would be a nobody person like me writing a song for them. Could you imagine what they could ask for if they were an established musician or artist like Low Roar? It would be much higher, I would imagine. So,
yeah, maybe, I don't know.
That'd be fucking dope. All right. Anyways, next listener feedback. Wes Nip writes in. We were talking about No Man's Sky in VR. So I'm just going to read Wes's comment here real quick, and then we'll follow up real quick briefly with a response. He says, "Hey, y'all, thanks for the in-depth look at No Man's Sky in VR. That gave me a lot of insight into that kind of experience, and it sounds great except for the controls change. You got my name correct mostly. The K is silent, so it sounds like Nip. And you can just say Wes like you was, because that's my first name. And a lot of people get the pronunciation wrong anyways. But also, the No Man's Sky has a story which has missions like a normal game, and the story's pretty good. I won't spoil it in case you finish it, but the point is really to just do what you want, really. So you can explore, you can find planets, ships, buried treasures, find glitches to display at your base, find exotic creatures, and all of your findings you can view in your Discoveries tab. You can trade and sell. It's pretty much endless. I'm on PS5, and I had to force myself to play Dredge just to get off the No Man's Sky kick for a while, because it's just fun to exist there. So I'm on Dredge now, and it's a pretty awesome game so far. Well worth the play. But again, thanks for the reply on the show. Great job as always, and I'll be listening every week. Great job, y'all. Thank you, Wes Nip, for writing in. Glad that we were able to get you some sort of response. So hats off to Jake for doing the fucking homework on that shit and getting back to you, because I did not play it yet, and I was gonna, but I didn't. So hopefully there's no love lost. Been kind of swamped at home with stuff, but yeah, very good. Thanks for all the feedback. I like how he's like, yeah, there's missions. It's like a regular game, but really you just do whatever the fuck you want to do. So I'm not sure yet even like how important the missions are, or if you can just fuck off the whole game. I think you could probably do either. So it sounds like it's really open-ended. Jake?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of been my experience. And to be clear, I don't know if I mentioned this whenever Wes brought this up last week, but I played a lot of No Man's Sky when it first came out. Like, probably 20 or 30 hours of it.
Yeah, I don't think you did mention that.
That might not be a lot for someone who plays it religiously, but when it first came out, I mean, and there was literally zero guidance whatsoever. I played it for like 30 hours, just like, finding these beacons, and it's like telling you how to try to get to the center of the universe or whatever the fuck. I don't even know. Like, it's so like there's so much vagary, and then like you just kind of learned how to build your ship and try and get better freaking engines to fly farther into space and like all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it seems way more in depth now, and there's way more to do. So,
Excuse me.
It does seem pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, I think so. Well, with that being said, thanks for writing into the show. You guys can always write in, like I said earlier. But we're going to move on to some news points, and I'm sure you guys are all waiting for us to discuss the state of play. The first news point is this past Wednesday, Sony released a new state of play, and it was different this time around. We're going to start there, talk about it, and then see where the wind takes us for this show. But the one thing I want to say first off, we don't got to give a high-level opinion of it. We'll just go through the points they touched on. But I do want to say that the weird voiceover shit is gone. Did you notice that? Because they have been just voiced over. Up next, we have, listen, from blah, 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 Ventures. And then it would show the trailer. Thanks for watching that trailer. Up next, we have... It wasn't that. They had Herman Holst on here, which was kind of nice. It felt more like a true showing to me, regardless of the content. But I really thought that they had a lot to show here. And I guess maybe we'll do a quick high-level opinion. Jake, what'd you think about the way this state of play was presented to us?
I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I was actually surprised at how long it was, and they showed a lot of good stuff in here. I'm like looking through your notes. You got like this is all out of order, but that's
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
I pulled it right off of the website.
But yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, this is kind of about as good as you could ever expect to receive from a State of Play. To be honest with you, I mean, it's in my opinion, it was kind of bordering on showcase territory.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have any real big announcements or anything like that, but just in the level of like the quality of the games that they discussed, and you know, that's I think it's worth saying that it was a pretty good showing by them.
Yeah, and I will say, excuse me, this is not in order. I pulled this off of Push Square's website because this is where we usually pull our news topics to talk about. But I guess we're going to start with the big hitter, right? Let's talk about the big hitter. We got a Death Stranding 2 huge story trailer, and they confirmed the release date's 2025, and it's going to be called On the Beach, which is kind of somewhat leaked prior to this. And dude, I gotta say, it looks fucking great. You're probably Death Stranded out at this point, but holy shit, I've taken enough time away from it that I saw this and I was like, this looks fucking dope. But at the same time, I will add, it looks largely like more of the same. It doesn't look like I was hoping, like a more streamlined, you know, we had talked like, okay, he lays the foundation with Death Stranding 1, then Death Stranding 2, right? Then he can really tune into what worked and get rid of some of the fat, right? Trim the fat. This trailer definitely shows, you know, Sam carting shit around still. And they're like, yeah, well, now you're working for Drawbridge instead of Bridges. And it's like, minor spoiler, but whatever. It's just a fucking name. But like, now I gotta buy another hat. But I mean, outside of that, dude, like, it all looks intriguing and awesome. But I didn't get the vibe that there's much evolution from the first Death Stranding so far. Granted, there wasn't a lot of gameplay, if any. There was like very minimal gameplay screenshots from what I could tell. But they were kind of spliced in, but there was no HUD. But you could tell the scenes that were gameplay. There's a scene where like Sam's riding in like a new delivery vehicle, and then there's a scene where he's like cresting a mountaintop that's covered in snow, and there's like an avalanche that happens, and it looks like maybe an earthquake happened, and he's like going like this, whoa, like he might fall. And it's like, okay, that's cool, but like, I don't know, he still sounds like you're gonna be carting fucking boxes around and being a delivery guy. So I don't know. Just funded by a new agency instead of the previous agency, the new whatever, the New America or whatever it's called. I forget what they call it. But anyways, again, Hideo knocks it out with art direction. Like the fucking weird hands on that lady's neck that keep coming up and shit. So fucking cool. Everything about it's just fucking dope, but like I still have no clue what's going on. And there's even one scene where like Norman Reedus' character Sam is like, he looks like he came out of like the Temple of Doom. Like he has all this chalk powder all over him. Like he looks like he's like almost like dead or something. But like he's being shown the new facility. He's like, it's a hell of a ship you have here. You know, and he's like just like half naked and he's covered in like this pasty white shit. And I don't know what that even implies or what it means. Did he die? Is this the real world? Are we going to be navigating between the afterlife and the current life? And because like, I don't know, like he didn't really touch on that stuff, but let's talk about that real quick. And then we'll get into the reveal that happened right after they showed this trailer. Jake, what do you think about the Death Stranding 2 stuff?
I mean, I thought it looked fucking cool. I will say that it was disappointing to me that it was like, oh, here's your fucking private room, and here's your fucking packages, and here's your BB, and like all this shit, and I'm just like, oh, okay. It's just like I've just been doing this for like the past 30 hours.
See, I'm
And,
getting
like,
kind of excited about it, but I understand where you're coming from.
But I will say that there is a scene. I don't know if you remember. There's a couple things. Obviously, the story stuff looks fucking awesome, just like every other Kojima game. But one of the coolest things about on the story front was well, I'll just touch on the gameplay thing real quick that I was going to bring up. Is that, like, it does seem like the gameplay, they've kind of added some shit to it. Like, they're showing, like, floods knocking out bridges that you've built, and, like the environments look kind of really crazy. It does look like there's probably going to end up being a lot more combat in this one. I don't know if you remember, there was like this scene where there's like these fucking robots, and Sam pulls out like an assault rifle and starts shooting at him and shit. And like that to me is really the biggest drawback of the first game was like they needed to break up the travel a little bit with a little bit more action. Like, I get that he was like, trying to get across that, Sam's not a fighter and all this crap. He's a delivery boy. But it's like, by the end of the game, I'm shooting shit and fucking fighting guys on battlefields and all this crap anyway. So it's like, maybe introduce that a little bit sooner. And then, so it seems like maybe in this game there's going to be a little bit more combat. Also, like, there's like just some crazy visuals of like him. You'd mentioned like the landslide thing, but there's like this section where he's like sneaking around some BTs, but they look like way crazier than they did in the first game. And like, I get the vibe that the first game was probably the proof of concept. Not that it isn't a complete experience, but it's more of a proof of concept. And then the second game is like, okay, let's take that. If that works, let's take that and just crank it up.
Yeah.
And I think that's really all that the first game needs, is it just needs to be fucking cranked up. Because like the story stuff is great.
Crank it up. And
just fucking crank it up. And so it looks like they might be doing that with the second game. And I love the imagery. I love like obviously I haven't beat the game yet, so I don't know what happens to Higgs, but obviously,
which one is Higgs?
In the second game, he's the one that has like the hood and like the skull mask.
Yeah,
the
okay.
Troy Baker character.
Who's the guy? Is Hartman the guy that goes away and comes back all the time?
Hartman's the one that goes into cardiac arrest.
Yeah, he's
every
fucking
21
awesome.
minutes or whatever.
What a great name
he's
for
a cool
him
character.
Too. Hartman, of course.
Dude, I was explaining to Sarah how like all of the characters that you interact with, their ringtones are specific to the character.
Yeah.
And like it's, if you don't really think about it, you wouldn't even notice it. But like Hartman's, trying to remember what, the mama character who like has the child or whatever. Like hers is like like a nursery rhyme, and like
right.
Dead Man's character is like the funeral march, and like, but they're like these like beepy boopy ringtones, so it sounds kind of like it just sounds like a ringtone.
So clever.
But I don't remember what Hartman's is, but it's the imagery in these games is so fucking cool, and even like there's this scene where they show. Like the guy that's piloting the big freaking ship that you're in, and he's got like this weird like tar cat bat thingy on his shoulder, and like I
don't remember that.
Yeah, it almost looks like a Final Fantasy character.
Weird. And then there's like
it's really wild.
There's the weird puppet thing in Death Stranding 2.
Yeah, that was I was gonna bring up. That was really cool. Like I love how that model is very stop motion and like
it's so weird, man.
It's very neat looking. I'm really excited to see what's going on with that. And then they show a scene of an actual like BT attack. Like, you remember in the game where like there's the BTs just kind of floating there like zombies, and then if you actually get dragged down by one, like the big fucking whale creature or whatever will come after you.
Yeah.
Well, they showed one of those, and it's like this big creepy crawly like fucking hand looking thing, and it looks awesome, dude. I even though I'm not gonna lie, like, dude, I just can't get enough of the way Kojima games just present.
Yeah.
Like, even Metal Gear Solid 5, I know people had a lot of issues with it, but like, dude, it
was a really good fucking game. If he would have been given the time to wrap it up the way, there is hidden CG trailers on YouTube somewhere of what the intended end of Metal Gear
of Act 3.
Yes.
What it wasn't complete, but it was like placeholder models and stuff. And it was fucking awesome.
The story was so good. If they would have just let him wrap that fucking shit up. Anyways, it doesn't even matter. That game could have been one of the best games ever made. If they would have just wrapped. The only thing that game suffers is the story's incomplete. Everything else about that game, I would argue, was fucking awesome. I don't know.
Yeah.
Enough about this, because you're not feeling good. Let's go to the other thing. So when this wraps up, Kojima's there with Herman Holst, and Herman's talking about how he's been slowly whittling away Hideo Kojima to do this new project, and they announce that there's going to be an espionage game. Kojima's talking about it, and he's saying that it's going to happen, and we don't know what it is, but we kind of do now. At the time, we didn't know. And they did this really interesting thing where I forget what Kojima says. He's like something like until then or next time or something like that. And then you can tell like this whole thing was shot on this weird. They do this one-shot drone thing that it peels out and it goes out of this big Paramount studio, and it just kind of goes, and you see where they're actually filming this thing at. And like, well, that's interesting, but I didn't pick up on anything. But anyways, underneath the Paramount sign, apparently it says Fizzint. I don't know if it does, but I saw a picture where it does say this.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Fizzint is, or Fizzint. It's Physint. And that now is apparently going to be the espionage stealth Metal Gear successor game that Kojima's working on. Hasn't started it yet, apparently, but it would seem that like somewhere Kojima tweeted or said something about how like it will be a next generation thing. So this could be a PS6 release title or something. Who knows? But dude, I don't think he's allowed to do Metal Gear. But
no.
But he did say, standing there, Herman Holst, that this is a culmination of his 40 years of making this style of game. Or however many years. Like, this is going to be the culmination of everything he has learned, and he's going to fucking make this thing. So, if Sony's backing him, you know they're going to let him do the entire story. We're going to get a whole fucking open, closed book of a story of a Hideo Kojima game. And if it's stealth like Metal Gear and it's fucking rad and it's a brand new IP, dude, I can't even begin to wonder what he's doing. He did say some weird shit, though, about how, like, it's definitely a game, but it's also very movie-like. So, like, he wants to be a fucking movie producer so bad, but I just hope that it's not, like, riddled with weird QuickTime shit, or it's so creative that it doesn't drive down what we want from Kojima. Like, what if he just takes it to like the nth degree and makes it so esoteric and weird that like it's not what anybody wants? I don't know. I'm a little bit of concern.
I would just, whatever it is, it's going to be interesting, regardless of whether or not it's for you. I mean, I don't think he's ever made a game that's not interesting, and I would say I don't think he's ever made a game that's not good, even if it's not something that you like.
Right.
So Fizzint, I guess, according to his Twitter or whatever, I guess it's a working title, so Fizzint. Who knows what it really means.
He's so good at
in my opinion, My opinion, it's a stupid fucking name.
Well, so
but,
is Death Stranding. No one fucking Stranding. What the fuck is Stranding? No one knew what that was, and we made fun of it. But now it makes sense.
Yeah, but Death Stranding at least like
Isn't
sounds like words. Like this is just like a.
It's a made up.
Like
word.
is this like a play on something? I don't really understand.
It sounds like isn't in physical.
But I read something that I think it was like on IGN or something where they were saying it was like a combination of the words physical and intelligence.
Oh.
But which I mean that still sounds stupid to me. But the thing is that Kojima's shit is always so just over the top insane that it, a lot of his stuff just doesn't really make any sense at all whatsoever. So, dude, I'm fucking 31 hours into Death Stranding, and I still don't even know what the fuck Death Stranding is. So, you know, a lot of that has to do with the fact that I refuse to read like every 2 minutes in that game, I get a message from somebody that's 53 pages long. And it's like, I'm not fucking reading this.
Hey, Sam,
I look for the ones that have yellow text.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I'll watch when the game's over, I'll watch, like, a recap of the story just to see if I missed anything.
Yeah, that's smart.
But, like, I think that this... I'll be honest with you. Like, I'm excited to see where this goes. Because if Kojima... The likelihood of him recapturing Metal Gear is probably pretty low. But if he comes out and makes a spiritual successor to Metal Gear that hits, I mean, it's basically like the biggest fucking dunk on Konami. And Sony will be in the driver's seat for that one. And that's pretty good for them. I mean, I have to wonder how much fucking money Sony is probably putting on the table. They might even just be funding this whole fucking project.
It wouldn't surprise me.
And because they funded Death Stranding and they own it. But the thing is about this game is I would be shocked if it wasn't a PS6 game. Because he said straight up in the State of Play that they weren't going to start production on this game in full until after Death Stranding 2 comes out in 2025.
Right. So they're not even going to start this shit until probably the beginning of 2026.
My guess is this is sometime between 2028 and 2030 is probably when this game's going to come out. So, you know...
I'll be 50 years old when it comes out. Maybe.
You very well might be. And they might be working on it right now. Who knows, you know? But it's like...
You can't fathom being fucking 50. Let's not talk about that right now.
But to be fair, like, he made Death Stranding in, like, 3 years. So
he's quick. He has a vision. That's the thing with him. He knows what he fucking wants.
So we'll see. I mean, Death Stranding, although Death Stranding 2, by the time it comes out, I think it'll be 6 years since the original. So it's not like that game turned around real fast.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that I'm excited about this, and we'll just have to see what happens.
Yeah, we got a ton of other shit to talk about. Let's go on to the next one. There was some Silent Hill shit that got roped out, and they dropped a free Silent Hill game. And as it turns out, everyone was like stoked about it. But to be honest, man, compared to the Resident Evil shit we've been getting, this really didn't do much for me looking at what they were showing. But like, apparently on Push Square, I think they gave it a 4 out of 10, and they're saying there's very little to do here. You walk around, you can like fucking read some things, but it's not even really a game. I didn't play it, but it's called The Short Message. And if you're interested, and nice to see some Silent Hill stuff, though, regardless, I think. But and it was more exciting, I think, on Wednesday when they announced it than what it turned out to really actually end up being. But Jake?
Yeah, I agree with you on that front. I thought like the imagery was pretty cool, but same with you. I've heard that this game is not very good, and I know that they talk about suicide in this game, but I guess like they literally club you over the head over and over with fucking messages about like suicide hotlines and all this stuff. And believe me, I 100% believe that if you've got a game that's got that kind of message in it, you should put something like at the beginning when you boot the game that says like, hey, if you need help, here's the help you can get. But like My understanding is that they just straight up stop you in the middle of the game and will just display this message again and again and again. And it's like, now you're just taking me out of the experience. It's like, it would be like, you know, let me think of a good example. Okay, minor spoiler for Life is Strange 2. You played that, right?
Yeah.
So you remember how the little boy finds the dog,
Right. Yep.
and then the dog ends up sadly dying in the game. And it would be like you're playing the game and you're running through that section of the woods looking for the dog, and then right before you find the dog, a fucking message pops up on the screen for like the ASPCA or some shit. And then you have to hit OK, and then now you find the dog. And it's like, okay, like,
would it also be
get what you're trying to do here?
Yeah, would you compare this also, like in The Last of Us Part 2, there are attack dogs, and sometimes you have to kill them. If they're coming at you, they pause it and they say animal cruelty is bad. You shouldn't hurt animals. You know, like, was that like the same thing kind of?
Yeah, basically. I mean, obviously our analogies aren't exactly on point, but it's like, because to be clear,
well,
like mental health and
right,
suicide stuff is very important, and people should definitely be helped and aware and all that stuff. But I think that there is an instance where you're going a little bit too hard with this, and you're actually detracting from the experience of, like,
where's the fine
like,
line?
imagine if you were watching a movie like fucking Schindler's List, and every time a bad thing happened, they like brought up a message warning you about how bad Nazis are. It's like we know, like
this,
from the
this
beginning
could really
of the movie,
affect
like,
you if you need to turn your head or leave the area. You know, we're going to show something really graphic. It's just like, I think at a certain point, people know what they're signing up for, right? So,
you can give them the message. Just give it to them at the beginning, right?
Sure. And then maybe one of the credits to tie it off. Sure.
Yeah, or whatever. You know what I mean? I just... I don't know. We don't need to go on that. I didn't mean to drag on.
Well, dude, I'll say this: if the studio was so concerned about maybe somebody getting the wrong impression, then maybe they need to have a hard discussion about whether or not they really need to or want to include that in their game. If they're that concerned about it, right? Food for thought.
Sure.
Like, that's my opinion. And I echo everything you said, Jake. Yeah, and I wasn't trying to compare killing a dog with committing suicide. That wasn't the parallel. I think the example is what I was giving, though, about how they inject cautionary messages in video games. At what point is enough? And I don't see this a lot, actually, honestly, ever. But this seems to be a thing with the Silent Hill game. So, and rightfully so. Probably there should be a message, but how often I need to throw it at you, I don't know. Can you disable it? I don't know. I'll shut up about it. So there is a new Silent Hill 2 game coming, and there is a PS5 trailer. They give us some puzzles, combat, and more. And again, I think we kind of touched on all of this Silent Hill stuff. I think it's fine. We also got a Stellar Blade exclusive. Well, this game is exclusive to PS5, I believe, is it not? But I think we got a release date for April 26th for Stellar Blade. And I think this game is going to go over exceptionally well, maybe more well than people initially anticipate. I think there's a lot of interest in this one. And I don't know that I have the interest in it, but it does look awesome. I don't think I'll buy it.
Dude, I'm actually really excited for this game.
Yeah.
I know there's something about it. I really think it's a game that I'm going to have fun playing. And I was kind of surprised that the release date is so soon.
Yeah.
I'm pleasantly surprised, but it just means that, like, I'm going to have to prioritize a little bit, because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out on, April 29th or whatever?
Yeah.
So, or sorry, not April. February 29th or whatever. So got to make sure that I'm through that, and anything else that I might want to play? It sounds like what was that other game we talked about last week that we said looked really good?
Grand Blue
JRPG, Grand Blue Fantasy. Yeah, apparently it's all right. I mean, but it's not like anything that anybody's screaming home about. So I might be able to write that off for a little bit. But I do really want to play this game because I think it looks awesome. And I hope that it is awesome.
Yeah, I think everyone's pulling for it, and if it turns out to be super fucking dope, maybe I will play it. But I'm not super into what I'm seeing so far for whatever reason. I've got too many distractions right now. Rise of the Ronin got a deep dive into gameplay. So another game that I think people are kind of stoked on. I don't know, man. Something about the graphics of this game don't really hook me. I'll just say it. It's not as pretty as Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're correct there, but I will admit that I had very little interest in this game because I wasn't sure what it was gonna end up being. But I do think that after watching this, that it does look good.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
So I'm definitely interested in checking it out. I just don't know how that's gonna. There's just so many other things to play that I don't know when I would get to this. So this is definitely going to be one of those games where we'll have to. This is going to be a wait and see kind of game for sure.
Yeah, and probably.
But I do think to be clear, I do think it looks good.
Yeah. I guess we just got to wait for the reviews, right? That's the thing. Let's just see. Until Dawn, we already announced this last episode, is getting remade for the PS5. This is Supermassive Games. But I will also say that when they started showing this trailer, I didn't even recognize it until they rolled the credits. And I was like, oh, that game. I don't know, man.
So, when I knew what it was, when I knew it was Until Dawn was when they showed that like maybe just a little bit into the trailer, they showed that contraption that was like, it was like the saw blade on the fucking minecart or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's from Until Dawn. And then, so I was getting excited.
Yeah.
Because I was like, are they going to make a sequel? And then, like, even if Supermassive isn't making it, but then I was like, no, it's just this fucking. I totally forgot about the remaster or whatever. And then as soon as I saw it was a remaster, I was like, why are they even doing this? Like, you can already play it on PS5.
Yeah, we already talked about that though. I think that it's a cash grab. They haven't been able to catch the lightning in a bottle again, so they're just going to remake the game.
Did they say if there was any extras or anything, or do we not know?
I don't know, but they showed a character that looked like the guy from Saw, and I don't remember him in the original Until Dawn.
Yeah, he was the
spoiler or no?
I guess I don't really want to spoil it, but he was remember there was like the bad guy at the beginning that was like the fucking red herring kind of guy.
Yeah.
I think that's who that is, if I remember correctly.
So fucking weird. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, that's happening. I think that they truly would have been better off doing Until Dawn 2. 100%. And they could have done it so easy. They could have been like, here's another group of kids that are staying here.
Or it could have even been something completely different. I mean, It didn't have to be. It could have just been like, I don't know, a whole different story.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, we got another state of play. Well, we didn't get a state of play, but there was an announcement about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We're getting more shit on that. I don't know if that dropped yet or not, but we've already talked about that game indefinitely all the time, so there's nothing to be said about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We're both interested in it. The one thing that I didn't expect was Ken Levine's Judas, the story trailer. This was fucking wild and out of left field. I don't think this game's even close to being done yet.
Yeah, I when I saw this, I was like getting excited, but then after the trailer was over, I was like, I didn't really need that.
Right.
Like I'm super like beyond excited for Judas. I want to make sure that's abundantly clear. But like this trailer didn't do anything for me more than the first trailer we got a year ago.
Yeah.
And honestly, I thought the first trailer we got a year ago was way more exciting because it showed like a few more gameplay elements and some crazy shit going on. And I think that I have to go back and watch it again, but it just, when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is cool. And then it was over. And it's like, I got to be honest, there's this one thing that developers or publishers or whatever have been doing now that makes me cringe so hard. And it's when they say, whenever they show you a trailer and it just says wish list now at the end of it, I fucking hate it. It's like pre-orders are like taboo now. Like they don't like you can't pre-order games that like don't have release dates and shit. So it's like wish list. It's like because they used to use pre-orders. Companies use pre-orders to gauge interest in games. Well, now it's like there's so much stink on pre-orders because games fucking release broken all the time that it's like, well, now we're using this wish list feature so we can gauge interest in games and stuff and see how well they're gonna do or whatever. And it's like, come on, just say it's. I don't know. It's like, why are you asking me to wish list to this game? Like, what does that mean? Like, how does that do anything? I'm getting off on a tangent. I am really excited for this game, but
your tangent's fine.
I wish I would have gotten at least like a window if they'd have just been like, hey, this is. But it's Ken Levine, so who knows? It could be fucking 2027 before we see this game.
Could be this fucking year. Who knows? No one knows. And that's the
yeah, I know. BioShock Infinite took forever to come out, so this could take a long time.
That's the beauty of the speculation, man. This next one, don't care anything about. Sonic X Shadow Generations revealed. There's an enhanced remaster set to come out, set for autumn, I guess, which would be the fall time for us. But I think it looked really good, but I was never a Sonic person, so this doesn't do anything for me. It looks fine. It looks actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like I don't really like Sonic.
Yeah.
So none of this really does it for me. Like, why the fuck are there two Sonics? Like, I don't really understand what's going on here. And like, maybe this is actually really fun. I don't know. There's some parts of it that look really cool, but a lot of it is just like Sonic running around. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. Like, I get that that's like his thing as he runs around.
I'll say
that, like,
dude, I'll say this about Sonic, and maybe you'll remember this and maybe you won't, but when the Game Gear came out, Sonic on the Game Gear was a fucking sight to see. Because
yeah, it was awesome. The Game Gear was fucking legit.
Yeah. It was fucking awesome. And I couldn't believe that was on a handheld because it looked so fucking good. And I was jealous of anyone who had a Game Gear because I didn't. They were too expensive. I had a Game Boy and then a Game Boy Color. Game Gear was the fucking shit. Sonic on Game Gear, I'll never forget seeing that on that screen. My buddy was playing it. It's just holy fucking shit, I need this.
Yeah, I had a Game Gear, and but the only thing I ever played on it was Streets of Rage.
Oh, attaboy. That's the way to do it.
So, well, I mean, I played a little bit of Sonic on it, and I had a couple other things too, but that was mainly I just played Streets of Rage on it.
Game Gear was awesome. All right. This one I spoiled for you, Jake, and I didn't mean to do this. Metro Awakening is a Deep Silver's involved, being developed by another company, though, and it's going to be an origin story on VR2 for Metro. Now, let me just say this. I will say this. Apparently, there were leaks that this was going to be announced or somebody was working on this game. When I brought up how fucking cool it would be to be in a VR Metro game, I had known nothing about this. Disclaimer. So when this fucking dropped and I'm watching the state of play, my jaw hit the fucking floor. Because, like, at first it shows, like, this fire, and it's, like, this Russian voice. And he's talking about, oh, the fire. I can't even fucking do it. But they were doing the voice. And then you see, like, you're like, holy shit. Like, I think that's the guy who wrote Metro. Like they gave like a Russian name, and I'm like, I think that's the fucking Metro guy. And I'm like, no fucking way, they're not fucking doing this. And then, sure as shit, it's an origin story for the Metro games in VR, and coming out in VR 2. This is now race to the top of my most anticipated, excited for game out of all the games. Jake, you turned me on to the Metro series, and I've never looked back. I've been in them. I love them. I've played all 3. I loved them all. I think the latest one, Exodus, was my least favorite just because it was a little more open world. But ultimately, the DLC and shit for Exodus was fucking fantastic. Like the 2 captains and whatever the other one was. Oh shit, it's good. This is a great world, and I can't wait to be in it in VR. I'm fucking stoked. And the trailer looks awesome.
It does look good. I mean, it looks really fun. So I love like the idea of looking at your watch to see how much air you have.
Oh, I can't wait.
Fucking mask, and even like the fucking homemade guns and shit look cool.
Oh.
And I just hope it's good.
Did they give a date? I mean? Was it 2025? Did they give a date? Metro Awakening.
I'm looking at it. I'm watching the trailer for it right now.
God, it looks fucking awesome. It wasn't quite enough. I wanted more in this trailer. I wanted to see more. It says
coming 2024.
God damn it. It will be mine.
Yeah. It looks great.
Jesus. This to me, second to Death Stranding 2, obviously, because I'm invested in that too. But this to me was the biggest thing on this entire thing, because like you and I just been through this VR renaissance again. We put the helmets on. You just came out of No Man's Sky. I don't think we're ever getting Half-Life Alyx, but if we can get fucking Metro exclusive to VR 2, will it be exclusive? Probably not, because Metro is PC also. So I just it better come to VR 2 at the same time, if not before PC. I bet you this is cross-platform. That's all. They can't take that big of a risk. They can't take that big of a risk. And keep in mind how pretty the Metro games are. Dude, they are going to fucking capitalize on this fucking shit in VR. It's going to be the fires, the flames, putting out the lights, the torches, the whole subway system, the fucking stealth. Dude, it's going to be so fucking good. I'm calling it now. 10 out of 10 for a VR game. Calling it. I already saw what I had to see. It's going to be amazing. As long as it tracks, it's a fucking in the bag. All right, dude. Not last one. Next news point. Legendary Tales, some sort of VR2 game. Also, it says Spellbinding. I don't know anything about this game. What the hell is this game?
Dude, this game looks actually like when I first started watching the trailer for this. This is the one that's like the medieval one where you're like fighting a bunch of like medieval RPG where you're like fighting a bunch of like skeletons and shit. And like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, this looks kind of wonky. And then like as it goes on, it just gets more weird and crazy and wild. And I'm like, oh, this actually looks fucking awesome. Like there's like scenes where it looks like you can just grab anything and use it as a weapon. Like he breaks the skull off of one of the skeletons and like uses it as a shield and like throws a knife at someone. And like it seems very like kinetic and almost like a medieval kind of combat version of like a super hot or something like that, where it's like it's just this very fluid, like nonstop kind of combat thing, and where you can just kind of use your enemies' tools against them, or like the stuff that you craft or what. I don't know. It looks fucking cool, but I'd like to see more about it.
So here's the thing. My understanding is they're billing this as a dark fantasy RPG, but it's also multiplayer. So
is it only multiplayer?
I don't know. It's built from the ground up in multiplayer is how they... So, honestly, Jake, you just need to, like, jump into some dungeon crawling with me in multiplayer. I'll be a barbarian, and you can be an elf. And we can just fucking troll around and fight shit. It'd be fun if you got to build your party. If it's like Gauntlet in like VR. I
Looks
don't
like
know.
this is in early access on PC right now.
We'll have to see what people are saying about it. It does look cool. I did forget about this game, but it does look cool. Next one, Zenless Zone Zero. I don't know what this is. I don't remember
How many
what
of
this
these?
is.
This is another one of those MiHoYo games or whatever. It's like, how many of these fucking games are they gonna make? Like, are they all in the same universe? Like, I don't understand. This,
Oh,
to be fair,
Honkai
of
Star
all
Rail,
the
Genshin. Yeah.
yeah, but to be fair, all of the ones I've seen, aesthetically, this one is the most cool to me. But I'm probably still not gonna play it because it's one of these fucking gotcha games. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, but it'll probably be a free to play game, and people who are into Genshin, your brother will probably love it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I mean, I think it looks cool, but if it's anything like Genshin Impact, I know I'm not gonna like it. So just I'll like the aesthetic and everything, but I'm not gonna like the whatever.
That's fair. The
Those
gotcha
elements.
I never played Dave the Diver. There's a new there's a port coming. And there's going to be Godzilla downloadable content in May, so we can just pass on that. I hear it's awesome.
Dave the Diver, I guess, is pretty good. Yeah, it's got a. Let's see here. I just wanted to see real quick what it got on, because I think it released on Switch.
I think it did really well.
Was where it was at, and Dave the Diver on OpenCritic has a critic average of 90, and 100% of critics recommend.
Yeah, it's supposed
So
to be.
I don't even know what the fuck this game is, but apparently
you're running a
people love it.
restaurant in Dave the Diver. It's a sushi restaurant, and you go out and you dive, and you're supposed to find the ingredients for your meals. So you're building a restaurant and you're a diver, but you encounter shit underwater apparently that is threatening and stuff. And then there's all these like mini games and shit that go on. I guess it's like got some really nice gameplay hooks in it. But the other one, is it Vampire? No, V Rising. V Rising is this vampire RPG game. It's coming to PS5. Apparently, it's already out on PC. It released in 2022. It's an action RPG, and you play as a potentially tyrannical vampire. So I don't know. I like the idea of vampires, but usually vampire games suck. So I'm curious.
I think it looks really cool. I don't love the idea of. It seems like there's almost like a survival, like base buildy kind of component to it that I really don't want to deal with. But like the actual like running around and fighting and all that stuff looks really cool.
Yep.
I like the idea of playing as like a vampire, but and it seems like it's got, you know, it's got a very positive rating on Steam. So, and this is another early access game.
Sure.
So we'll see how it ends up. But I think it looks great. I just don't know if I'll be all that into the base buildy part of it. I might just need to look into it a little bit more.
Yeah,
and see
do a little more research on
what it means.
Dragon's Dogma 2, new character classes they showed us. I really don't want to talk anything about that unless you feel the need to.
I mean, it looks good. I'm not going to lie. Like, Dragon's Dogma 2 looks great, but I just don't know that it's something, because doesn't it come out in like March or something?
It's coming out real soon. Mm-hmm.
It comes out really soon, and then between like all these other stuff that's going on, I don't know if I'll play it, but we'll see. I mean, if it comes out and it's just an absolute banger, and I need something to play, then we'll throw it on the list. But I didn't really play the first one. I played maybe, I don't know. I think I played like an hour or two of the first one because there was like a demo of it, of the Dark Arisen stuff on PS3. And I never really got deep into it. So I have there's nothing for me really to be excited about here other than what I'm seeing in these trailers. And to be fair, like they do look very good, but I have no experience to draw from to be like super hyped about it.
Yeah, very good. I agree. Sorry, dude. I long story. I think I told a story a couple episodes ago about I hung out with my buddy Justin. I hadn't seen him forever. We were college friends, and then he showed me, like Wayne was just in town. That guy. Yeah. I just got a random message from Wayne, and he goes, "Warning, photo dump incoming." Because I found this picture of Wayne and I, because I still think he was at college for the full fucking 4 years, and he says that he was only there for one semester, but found a picture of him and I couldn't place the background. I asked him where the fuck the background was. He goes, dude, I have no recollection of this photo. And like, we're trying to figure it out. But then he just sent me a message, and it's like a photo dump. And he says, photo dump warning incoming. I found a bunch of pictures from college. And the very first picture, do you know the thumb trick through the zipper? You know the trick for guys?
Yeah.
You fucking tuck your arm in, and then you put down the zipper, and you stick your thumb out through the zipper so it looks like your wang's hanging out. I apparently knocked on his door and did that, and then he just happened to have a camera, and he took this fucking picture of me because he was dying laughing, and you can tell I'm just losing my mind because I thought it was the funniest thing. That's the very first picture he sent me, so I can't wait to look at the other ones because I have no clue what the fuck they're gonna be, but I'm so excited to see these. Lastly, Foam Stars PS5. PS4, the first season detailed ahead of next week's launch. So we are getting Foam Stars in February, and we'll move into the next news point here in a second. I'm not interested in Foam Stars. I hear that it can be kind of fun to jump in and out of, but like it's not really what I'm looking for in a game personally. I got it with the finals recently, free to play. So
Yeah.
we'll get into the news. We have like 4 more news points, and then we'll call it a night. And so that was it for the state of play. But we were given the essential games announced for February, the PlayStation Plus essential games for February. So if you're a PlayStation Plus essential subscriber, we are getting Foam Stars, which I just mentioned. We're going to get Rollerdrome, which actually looks fucking dope. I want to play that game. And then we're getting Steel Rising, which I don't even really know what that is, if I'm being honest.
Steel Rising was a game that looked really cool aesthetically, but I think it just got kind of mediocre, sort of 6s and 7s kind of reviews. I want to say that it was the same developer maybe that did. Oh fuck! Now I'm forgetting the name of that game. It was like a piratey kind of game. Steel Rising was made by Spiders, who did Greedfall. And people really liked that Greedfall game. They also did, I recognize quite a few of these games. Technomancer, Bound by Flame. So like they're like one of those teams that make solid, 7s. Like they're not making anything that's blowing your hair back or anything like that. But
right.
I don't know. It's one of those games where like maybe if I'm bored or whatever, I'll download it and try it out. But I do understand that Rollerdrome game is pretty good. I've never played it, but I hear it's great.
Interesting. I don't know anything about it, but I'll take your word for it. We don't usually go into rumors, but this one is interesting, and we don't need to spend a lot of time on it. It's just because it's so interesting and seems so unbelievable at this point, but there's a YouTuber that leaks a lot of hardware for Sony stuff, and the name of the account is Moore's Law is Dead, and they are indicating on their YouTube account that there's possibly a successor to the Vita being thought about or entertained over at Sony, and it would seem that they're saying this would be able to run games natively. And the report that on this YouTube site is that, this whole project is very high level, meaning not like super super classified, but more so that it's really early stages, and that this device is at the very least 2 years out and hasn't been technically greenlit yet. So it very well might be something that comes out alongside the PS6.
Or doesn't come out at all, or if it's still in the R&D phase.
Correct. But curious, I mean, I guess it makes sense for Sony to consider this market still, but the wild failure, put in parentheses, of the Vita is a shame because it was awesome. And I think a big issue that Sony's running into with a lot of their hardware, VR included, is having first-party developers develop for these things. You know, they have these really great pieces of hardware that could really do a lot of awesome shit, but then like they just don't get the game support out of the gates to maximize the potential of the device.
I think if they could just utilize some backwards compatibility kind of situation where, like, let's say you could natively play PS4 games on there, and then maybe, you know, some PS5 titles with patches or whatever could play on there, and they didn't have to be like only for Vita 2 or whatever the fuck it's going to be called. Like, I think they could more easily sell a handheld if people could download it and say like, oh, well, I already have this huge library of games I can play on this thing.
Right.
And if that's the case, I might fucking pick one up. That sounds awesome. I mean, I'm not a huge handheld gamer, but and if they rolled like fucking if they rolled in like all the functionality from the Portal, so that I could remote play into my PS6 or whatever,
right,
to play all the newest shit, like that'd be fucking awesome. Have all that stuff in one. It'd be a cool little doodad.
That'd be fucking awesome, dude. It would be cool. It'd be cool as shit. There's just so much potential with Sony, but they got to be careful how they play their cards. And I just don't know that, because there's so much that goes into it: pricing, level of interest, what games can it support, how are you going to sell the unit? There's so much shit to it. Anyways, I thought it was interesting. I watched this next one. This next one is The Last of Us Part 2 documentary. Grounded is on YouTube. It's 2 hours long. It's really...
Did they just do it?
It's out, yeah. So it's...
Because they did one for the first game.
Yeah, this is Grounded 2, they call it. Grounded 2.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'll have to watch it.
It's 2 hours long. What's that?
I was just gonna say I've been meaning to go back and play Part 2 again.
Did you buy up?
I haven't, but I will.
I did
whenever I go to do it.
And I found out I bought The Last of Us 2 digitally, so fucking my advantage. I don't have to worry about the disc. I could buy up. So good.
There you go.
So good. But yeah, dude. So it's interesting because they kind of take you through the studio. It's really fucking good. Two things. We'll go pre-Last of Us 2, and then I'll talk on a quick news point on post-Last of Us 2. And then, Jake, I know you look like you're going to die. We'll get through this quick. Pre-Last of Us 2 is apparently The Last of Us started off as an open world Bloodborne style game. It's fucking ridiculous that was their direction.
Glad that didn't happen.
Yeah. And second point is, at the very end, Last of Us 2 comes out, it releases, yada, yada, yada. Druckmann is talking, and he said, there have been articles about how I've said that I have a script written for The Last of Us Part 3. He goes on to say it's not fully fleshed out. He has ideas, and then he says that, he has come up with what he thinks would be a really good idea for Part 3. And he says, so I think that it's probably in the cards that will happen at some point. Inferring or implying that is not the game that they're currently working on. which is really interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I kind of would like for them to just get out from under The Last of Us, like finish the last fucking game and be over with it. But like at the same time, like I want to see something different from them.
I think we're gonna.
Like at this point, I'm sure I would love a Last of Us 3, but I could take it or leave it. If they never made another Last of Us game, I probably would be okay with that. And but they've been doing this super hard shit for the past 10 years. Like, I want to see them do something new. Like, what does that end up being? And, is it they're going to make something more stylized? Is it still going to be super grounded and gritty, but like maybe it's fucking a sci-fi game or something, or maybe they'll do like a fantasy game? I know there have been some rumors we've talked about, but like,
dude, I think
who knows?
Dude, I think a Naughty Dog game that would be really fucking fun and also scary and realistic and like make you stop and pause and think. If they did an alien invasion kind of game. Think about what they could do graphically. Like, I just keep thinking about the scene in whatever DLC it was with Chloe and what's her face. You know the one I'm talking about for Uncharted. There's that scene where you get up on the roof and you're looking out into the distance and the city is like getting bombed. And it's just like the scale. Now imagine that situation, but fucking alien spaceships coming into Earth and like getting into the atmosphere and they're flying. Like you're just this fucking dude or female antagonist, whoever, and you go up and you look out your window and it's true to form Naughty Dog, but it's like they sell you this intro that everything's normal and then shit just fucking goes off the hook where like there's like literal aliens coming down and like just wiping out your neighbors and like attacking, almost like clickers, but like aliens, so they can keep it campy and light, right? They could add like an element of fun to it.
At that point, it might as well just be a Resistance game.
That's what I'm kind of leaning towards. But what if like there was like, I don't know, what Men in Black shit where like they show you these fucking weapons, like, oh yeah, we know about these things, come join us, or we're here to take you in, and you become like a hard ass and like smash cut like 15 years later, you're still fighting aliens.
I think I'd rather see that. I mean, I think what you're saying would be cool, and it would be a natural evolution of what they've done with The Last of Us. But I think it'd be cool to just have them do like a straight up fucking hard sci-fi, like
Mass Effect
200
kinda?
years in the future kind of game where it's like maybe not quite that pristine. I'm thinking of something more like have you read or consumed any of the Expanse books or the TV show or anything?
Yeah, I was really into the show for a while, but I just kept falling asleep during it. That's not a reflection of the show. The show is really good. It's just you have to be awake and paying attention to really follow it. But
like something more like that, where it's like, yeah, it's sci-fi, yeah, there's space stations and shit, but it's like it's pretty grounded.
Yeah,
and like it's based in reality.
It's like future politics and like yeah,
it's not like it's not like alien fucking government councils and all this crap like Mass Effect. It's like, but it just happens to take place in space. Like I think that would be kind of a neat way for them to go. Or who knows, maybe they can make like a fucking super cartoony game. Who knows? But it would be neat to see something new from them.
I think whatever they choose to do, I hope it's just fucking badass. And I think it will be. All right, next news point. Dude, there's major fucking rumors circulating today, this morning, and yesterday evening. And I don't know if you saw any of this, but it seems like it's more than just a rumor that Starfield is coming to PS5. And also, there are other rumors that Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, Gears of War are also in talks of coming to PS5, which is crazy. And the reason being is apparently the leak. It said that Microsoft has really been trying to chase the money. And their studio, while it's been 50-50 and a lot of their games live on rival platforms, they're kind of pushing it that way because they're not doing well for the gaming part, I guess. So the Sony's got such a hold on them that they're just going to let these games maybe live on PlayStation. And what's interesting to me is like, could Sony just be like, we don't want them?
They wouldn't do that.
What if they did?
Might as well take the fucking money. I mean, they could, but they might as well take the money. Dude, I'll be honest with you. Hi-Fi Rush is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm not.
I think that like, if that comes to PlayStation, people should play it because it is so.
I'm sure they
cool.
will. Yeah,
and even like Starfield, even though it's not what I necessarily want out of a Bethesda Game Studios game, it's still pretty good. And Gears of War is shocking because that's like a Xbox kind of flagship title. So I'm not really sure.
Well, rumors.
Like, you might as well bring Halo over. I don't know.
None of this shit is confirmed, but this is what is circulating right now on the news sites.
Right.
Like this is. It's not. It's a little. I think it's more than just speculation at this point. I think that there is some teeth to some of this.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, maybe excuse me, maybe it's all hubbub, but dude, if these, I mean, I don't really have any knowledge about Sea of Thieves. It's not really for me, but I think people really like it, so that's probably pretty cool. But like I said, Hi-Fi Rush is awesome. Starfield's pretty good, and Gears of War is great. Like that's another series that's been kind of, I don't want to say stranded on Xbox because that implies that, you know, Xbox is somehow inferior, but
yeah,
like I think that Gears of War is, especially like the first 3 games. I only played the first one, but I loved the first game. But my understanding is like the first 3 as a trilogy are fucking awesome as a whole. So I just am excited for, and not that it happens here, but like people need to chill with the freaking, you know, console war shit about all this stuff and trying to dunk on Xbox fans and all this crap. It's just like, you should just be happy that these games are coming over and you have a chance to play them, because
I
it
agree.
seems like every game they're bringing over sounds fucking dope. And if it means you don't have to buy an Xbox to play them, then that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. This is just shocking news, though. And
It is. It's very shocking news.
I don't know what it means or if it's even going to happen. I bet you they roll things back and this doesn't happen. If I were a betting person, I would say this does not happen. I could maybe see Starfield because I think the reception of Starfield has been kind of rough, and like, while Microsoft owns ZeniMax and whatever the fuck, Bethesda and all that shit now. There might be a push from Bethesda to say, listen, this shit needs to be released on PlayStation. We have the data here. Like, it's going to sell. You'll make more money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't think that the catalyst for this decision incubated in Microsoft itself, but more so maybe a push from the developer that they own.
My understanding too is that what's the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella or whatever? Or,
I couldn't even tell you.
Satya Nadella is the CEO of Microsoft. My understanding is that he's been on record saying that he doesn't like exclusives, and he would like to see all that shit everywhere, just so that they can make more money on it, which I totally understand. I mean, they've spent so much money on this initiative, buying all of these studios to generate games for Game Pass and all of this stuff, and their subscriber numbers have kind of gotten flat, and they're probably not making the money that they would like to make, and so it's not all that surprising to me that they're thinking about branching out. And I just I think it would be cool.
That is
for some
super
more people
cool
to be able to experience these games.
I mean, would be tempted to pick up Starfield if that were the case. I don't know if it's anything I would like, but
it is a good game. My biggest, I didn't really appreciate. I don't really like the way that they handled exploration in it, but the actual like story and the gameplay and all that's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, that's yeah. I don't know. I think I would be interested, but that's all we have for the show today. I don't have any new games coming out this week. We are recording this a day late, but for those on Patreon, I apologize again that you're getting the show a tad bit later than normal, but you still get it before the non-patrons of the show. So you can't gripe too much because we don't even promise that, but we do try to achieve that for you. You know, and just like our video game skills, sometimes we're awesome and sometimes we're not on our A game, but it is what it is. I was busy yesterday. Jake had hockey, so we're recording this on Monday evening. The episodes air every week on Wednesdays for non-patrons, and you can listen on your preferred streaming platform and also on YouTube. So if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, be like Wes, jump in there, subscribe, give us a little extra, a little love over there. It helps our channel grow, and then we have more people, like-minded or maybe not like-minded people, to chime in to what we're talking about each and every week. When it comes to PlayStation, that being said, Jacob, do you have anything that you would like to add before we go? And I apologize because I know you wanted this to be a shorter show, but there was a lot of fucking shit to talk about, so sorry.
Yeah, I get it. It's cool. No, I did couple days ago buy a ticket to see Alice Cooper and Rob Zombie in concert. So I'm really
just one ticket going solo?
I'm just going by myself. Yeah,
that's fucking dope.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. I kind of like going to concerts by myself. Sometimes I'll go with like Sarah.
Yeah,
and because it's one of those things where it's like you can get in and out and do your own thing, and you don't have to worry about entertaining somebody else.
Exactly.
Music can be so personal, you know, that it's like. Sometimes I just like getting there and fucking doing my own shit. And, you know, there's obviously exceptions to that. I take Sarah, like I asked Sarah if she wanted to go, but she's just not really a big fan of either one of those bands. Yeah. So, but yeah, I was pretty stoked about that. They're playing at the Pavilion in Pittsburgh. So, which is not my favorite venue, but yeah, beggars can't be choosers. So,
well, the show that we are both going to go to, I am so beyond stoked for. The new Alkaline Trio record, listeners, if you've not heard it, is awesome. It's really good. It's really good. It's really good. It's really growing on me. It's so good. And they are playing in another band that I've been listening to a lot of lately are opening, and I'm sure they'll do just as long of a set. They'll probably do like 40 minutes, 30 minutes. Drug Church. They're a super hardcore band, and they're so good. They're not. I hate to reduce them to hardcore by describing them because they're so much better than that. They're like
they're just aggressive. Like they have like an aggressive sound, I guess I should say.
But their songs are so well written and they're tight. All their live videos they're like one of the fucking tightest bands I've ever seen. I'm
not gonna lie though, that new Trio album took me a couple listens, but after a couple listens, I was locked in. Album.
It's weird because it's not quite what you expect from them, but it's a mature band. It's a band who's aged over time. I'll say the song real quick that I can't get out of my head, which is probably honestly, and no offense to Dan, because I like Dan, their bass player, a lot. I like his songs a lot. His song "Broken Down in a Time Machine" is my least favorite on the record, but he has one line in the chorus, and he says, "Sometimes it works in reverse." And the way he sings it, sometimes it works in reverse. And it's just so fucking good. He has like this tonal quality to his voice. The song is okay because of that one line and his delivery. Every time that part comes in, I'm like, yeah, this is fucking awesome. And then it kind of fades back.
That song, if it's the one I'm thinking of, gives me, for whatever reason, it gives me like early 2000s kind of like local show vibes. I don't really know why. Like, there's something about the chorus of that song that, like, if it's the song I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I think it is. It's just like, I'm broken down in a time machine. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Sometimes it works in reverse. And it's like that when he says that line.
Yeah, I think that's one. Yeah,
it's so fucking good because he goes up and his delivery is so fucking matter of fact. And the idea of him literally just talking about a time machine working sometimes in reverse and being stuck in the past, but then like you get throttled back to the present, or like you're looking into the future from back then and it's where you are now. Like, it's just really cleverly written, and I love and appreciate the lyrics. The music's just fine on that song compared to the other songs, but it's a really good song. And that one part just fucking, I think, I don't know if I have a favorite yet on the record, but holy cow, man. That Meet Me song, is that what it's called? Meet Me?
Yeah, it's like the second or third song on the album.
Dude, I think that's the one, or maybe it's track. No, I think it might be track 2. Man, Skiba does this thing. And for those who don't know who Alkaline Trio are, they're a punk band from Chicago from back in the day. They're all spread out now, but Matt is the dude who filled in for, was it Tom DeLonge? When Tom left Blink,
yeah.
They picked Matt, and Matt was the guy that filled in. So if you were interested at all in what he was doing in Blink, everything he's done in Alkaline Trio is by far and wide better than the shit he brought to the table for Blink. Matt is an incredible songwriter. He's a super thoughtful guy. In fact, the title of the record is called Blood, Hair, and Eyeballs, and his mother is a decorated war nurse from Vietnam. And she would like go to the LZ and like would, you know, just fix people up. And apparently that's where she met his father, because he was a soldier, and they both lived, and they ended up getting married. But he's telling a story in this interview that his mom said, like, when it was really bad, they would say, how was it? You know, like it was like nurses lingo wherever they were at. It was just blood, hair, and eyeballs. And like, that's where they got the fucking title for the record, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's wicked.
And then if you think about, there's a song on there about I think it's the one they released a video for, and I don't know for certain, but it's the one with, you were talking about a practice that had a really cool rhythm part to it. What the hell song is that one? It's
Bad Time?
Yeah. So, you know, he's talking about like how like the verse is like, I was in the middle of a firefight. It's a bad time, but I want to talk to you. I think that could be a reference to his parents meeting at the Vietnam War. I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. But the stories,
super catchy song though.
But the stories that he reflects on when he's talking about this record are really interesting. Talking about his folks, and then talking about growing up in like the punk rock scene, the Chicago scene and stuff. It's really interesting to hear people like him do long form interviews, because I've always respected his writing, and he's not like fucking Ozzy Osbourne. So you're not going to get a lot of like interviews with like famous websites. You know what I mean? Like, it's sparse. So it's nice to hear them talk about their music. So, really interesting. I don't know shit about what caused that song, but I imagine, you know, because it's really weird, you know, but he does say something about a drive-by also. So it's probably not. What a fucking good song. They're all great songs. Oh, Versions of You. Holy shit. All right. Enough.
Yeah.
All right, I'll let you go. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you want a music recommendation, you just got it. Listen to Drug Church, Alkaline Trio, or Alice Cooper. You know, why not? I will see you guys next week. Jake will see you next week. With that out of the way, like Wipeout, Omega Collection, Watch Dogs 2, and Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt. P.S. This is awesome.
This is awesome.